Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a glowy winter makeup look, which is actually so nice for today because it's nice and sunny outside. I know in winter our skin can look a little bit dull, a lot of the time it gets a bit dry and dehydrated, but that doesn't mean that you can't wear makeup. It just means that you maybe want to boost that hydration a little bit, put the powders away for the moment unless you're super oily. And do like a nice glowy skin look. So we're focusing on the skin today. I'm not going to show you my eyeshadow, I'll probably do that for my Instagram instead. But if you're excited to see my winter skin routine, then make sure to just keep watching. I think the most important step when you're going for either like a glowy look or your skin's feeling a bit dry or dehydrated is the prep. So I've already done my morning skincare, but I mean it's like midday now, so obviously that's kind of soaked in a little bit, so I want to add a little bit more hydration and skincare just to sit underneath that makeup so we don't get dry and the skin looks nice and healthy and glowy. So I'm going to start off with the Avon and Lisa Armstrong All About That base. It really reminds me of the vitamin enriched face base from Bobbi Brown. It's a nice thick moisturiser but doesn't leave your skin feeling greasy. So I'm going to pop some of this on. Then I'm just going to pop a little bit of lip gloss on as well because I feel like my lips get super chapped in winter. So I'm just going to use the Fenty Beauty Pro Kisser Luscious Lip Balm. These are actually tinted. What shade is this one? It's in the shade Pinch Me. It's like a pinky one. I'm just going to chuck that on. These are so lovely, really nice and hydrating without feeling sticky. Then I like to go over the top with a primer as well, just to add that little bit extra. I think when your skin is a little bit dry and dull, you just need to add on the skincare and the primers. So this is the Fenty Profilt'r Soft Silk Hydrating Primer. I would always recommend going for something hydrating rather than mattifying, unless you're really, really oily, but I have oily skin and I still like to use hydrating ones. Popping that all over the skin too. I'll really let that soak in for a little bit. I'll just talk you through my brows. So I've already done my brows. I use the Fenty Beauty Brow Wax and I use the Anastasia Brow Wiz, but I do need to add a little bit of brow gel. I absolutely love the 24-hour brow setter from Benefit. It is amazing and I really, really love the brush on this. They're like really tiny bristles and they get right up in there with the little hairs. So I'm just going to pop these in place. I have my brows laminated because I really like that kind of fluffy brow look. Now I'm moving on to foundation. Obviously if you're going for a glowy look you want a luminous or a dewy foundation, so I'm going to go in with the Anastasia Luminous foundation. This is one of my all-time favourites. It is so good. It's higher coverage than the Armani Luminous Silk but still gives you that nice like dewy finish. I'm going to take some of this on the back of my hand. And I like to first apply it with a brush and then I go over it with a damp sponge just to make sure that everything's kind of like blended in nicely. So the brush that I am obsessed with is the 110 foundation brush from Fenty. So I'm just going to pick that up. Oh, and I'm in the shade 220N in the foundation if you're wondering. But I basically stipple this into my skin with the brush and then I'll go over it with the damp sponge. As you can see, that leaves such a nice natural glow to the skin and I don't want to take that away, so I'm going to use a lot of cream products today. When you're going for a nice natural like glow within kind of look, you really want to try and use as many cream products as you want just to keep that natural luminosity. So I'm going to go in with my cream bronzer next, and I am completely and utterly obsessed with the Cheeks Out cream bronzer from Fenty. I'm in the shade Butta Biscuit, which is number 2, and as you can see I really love this one. I don't know if you can tell, like obviously I just hate it so much, you know. And I go in with another Fenty brush. It's the angled one, which is the 125 base brush, which I think is designed for the cream bronzer. So I stipple my brush into it, and you can use like any cream contour, cream bronzer, whatever you want. And I'm just going to pop this quite high up actually on my cheekbones just to warm up the face but also chisel out a little bit, you know, after Christmas. We all overindulged. We just want to make ourselves look nice and snatched, skinny. I feel like stippling into the skin you get such a nice even blend. It's just so much easier. What I love about cream products like this is you don't really need to set them. You can do just for longevity, but unlike a liquid, the creams just kind of soak into the skin so nicely and they blend into everything else really well. I'm going to take it down the sides of my nose as well, nothing too crazy because it's not like a dark colour, it just gives a little bit of a light nose contour. I couldn't even tell you what this brush is. It's an old, like, iconic London one. It's just quite a thick, dense brush. And I always take my nose contour up into the brow because it just connects everything together and it looks a lot more seamless. But you know, you do your nose contour how you like to, but this is how I love to do it. I'm going to go over lightly with my damp sponge. This is the Morphe damp sponge and it is amazing. Next up we're going to go in with the concealer, which is obviously a liquid cream product anyway. I'm going to use the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Full Coverage Concealer and I'm in the shade Light, and I'm just going to use it quite sparingly but in the areas that I really want to lift and brighten. So I go right here. Don't need too much of this because it's actually nice and full coverage and it's so affordable. I'm going to go lightly down the sides of my nose, really lightly in the middle. And like with the foundation, I'm first going to blend out with a brush. This is the Fenty concealer brush, 180 brush, and then I'll blend out afterwards with the damp sponge. I just think it's a really nice way to give that really nice even blend at the end, but with the brush you keep the coverage. So I'm stippling this in again, just focusing exactly where I placed it. On the outer corner, this is designed to lift the eye because our concealer is a couple of shades lighter than our foundation, so it gives that nice brightening and lifting effect. So now that I've blended the majority of that out, I'm going to go over with the damp sponge and a little bit of the excess foundation. And that will help to just seamlessly blend all of that in together so there's not such a stark contrast. Can you see the difference that that's made already? I love concealer so much. Now before we go in with any powder, I want to do some cream blush. You could either do liquid or cream blush. One, it's way more long lasting. Two, it's just going to help, again, make it a little bit more dewy and glowy. I'm going to take the same brush that we used for the cream bronzer. I'm taking the shade Petal Poppin from Fenty Beauty. And I'm going to take a fair amount of that. And again, we are stippling into our skin. I'm going to keep it a little bit higher on the cheekbone and kind of drag that back. I feel like, again, this helps to lift the face because that's what I love to do. Are we not looking so cute? I'm feeling so cute already. Obviously you don't have to take the coverage up to this level. You could definitely use products that aren't as full coverage, but I mean, if I'm doing my makeup, I want the coverage, do you know what I mean? What are we going with next? I am going to go in with powder, but I'm only going to use a little bit of my Fenty Profilt'r setting powder. I'm in the shade Lavender because it's a little bit lighter. It has those kind of lavender undertones to really help to brighten those areas because I'm only going to set where I put concealer. I'm going to use this little setting brush from Dose of Colours. This is amazing, so nice and soft. So I'm just going to go under those eyes, make sure that there's no creasage going on because your girl has wrinkly under eyes. I'm going to just tap off the excess. I feel like I have a hair on my face and it's really annoying. Anyway, I'm just going to lightly set underneath. Again, pushing that powder into the skin, only using a light amount. Set anywhere that you normally crease. I normally get little smile lines, so I just set around there as well. And then I don't really want to be shiny right in the centre of my forehead. As you can see, we still have that glow going up at the top. We still have a nice natural glow going on here. So we're not going to set any of those areas. I personally am going to use another powder. This is not necessary if you are not oily. If you have oily skin like me and you really hate when there's oils come through in these kind of certain areas, then maybe go in with another powder just to be safe, because I'm not going to bake today. So I'm taking the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. That's such a mouthful. This is amazing. It really like blurs the pores and everything, but it's also just really good at mattifying everything down. So only in the areas that I want to keep matte am I going to add this powder. So you could 100% leave this here. I personally am just going to add a little bit of highlighter as well, just to add a little bit more. So I'm going to use the Match Stix from Fenty in the shade Purrrl, which is basically a highlighter stick, but rather than going directly on my skin, I'm actually going to use my finger and lightly go over where we have that natural glow going on. I'm really hoping the camera is going to pick this up because it's just such a lovely product. In the summer I use this all the time. I'm actually going to use this for my nose highlight as well. It's really nice and natural. A bit on my forehead. I love a bit of forehead glow. I don't know about anyone else, maybe it's just me. Then lastly for the skin, I can't believe how quick this was. When you're not adding like all the extra powders, it's so quick. I'm going to take a powder blush, but it's a, what is this? Mineralise blush from MAC in New Romance. So it actually has bits of shimmer in this. So if you want to add even more of a glow and a bit more blush, something like this is perfect. This is a nice pinky blush and I haven't worn this in so long. And I just want to add a little bit. It gives a nice little bit of sheen on those cheekbones as well, but a nice natural sheen. Alright, so I think that is it for this winter skin. I will come back with my makeup done to say goodbye to you guys. So this is the final look, you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this skin focus tutorial. If you want to see how I did my eyes, all you got to do is just go and follow me on Instagram and I'll be posting it on there. If you did enjoy the video, please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It would really, really help me out. And apart from that, I hope you have an amazing week and I will see you next time. Bye.